Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land today? I hope this finds you well. I hope you're staying cool. It's a little cooler here in Indiana today than it has been the last few, but it's going to get hot again according to the weather forecast. And hope that you're all staying quarantined or social distanced or masked up or whatever it takes in your area. We're having our county fair here in Indiana and in my town this week. And they've been broadcasting things from the fair up there, and I haven't been up to see none of it, but I guess everybody's up there with their masks on and got their mask with their 4-H logos and all that, you know, and it's like a fashion accessory now.
Right.
We got Matt with us. Matt Haas is in the house. And Matt, what's going on in your world?
Well, I came off a difficult work week, a difficult week all around. I had some hardships in the family, but I'm getting through them. My outlook is good, and I'm ready to kick butt and take names.
Well, they say that if you don't have problems, you're not living.
Yeah, I bit my lip today. Can you tell it's a little poofy?
I'll tell you a story about that.
Uh-oh.
When I was a kid, I was in 4-H club and we were selling potato chips for 4-H, and we lived way out in the country. So my mom had to load up these cartons of potato chips in the back of the car and drive me from place to place because there wasn't no good way to, you know, get the potato chips down the road unless she did that. Mm-hmm. So she's taking me from house to house. And I go up, knock on the door, you know, and tell them that I'm selling potato chips for the 4-H club, how much they are and all that. They tell me how many they want. I come back to the car and get them and make their change and all that and go on to the next house, right? So we get to this one house. I get out of the car. I hadn't much more than got out of the car, maybe 3 or 4 steps. And this great big collie dog comes running at me as hard as it can run at me and scared the hell out of me. And I bit my lip and I had the blood running down my chin. I bit myself so hard. And the lady comes. You were
scared.
Yeah. And the lady comes running out of the house. She's, he won't hurt you. He won't hurt you. And my mom looks at her and says, he don't have to hurt her. She done hurt herself.
Thanks, Mom. Oh. Jim Bashir says, Lassie, no, in the chat.
We got a few people there in the house in the chat there. We got Anthony Schaus in the house. Jim Bashirs is out there. Dave Hart's out there. Let's see. Crystal McGuire come in. Frankie CNC is in the house. Good to see all of you. I hope everything is going good where you are. Please hit the like button or hit the down button. I don't care as long as you hit a button and and share it out every place. We'll have a drawing after a while, or not a drawing, but a giveaway.
Giveaway. All right. You're starting to make this a regular thing. People are going to start expecting it.
Yep. They're going to say one of these days I won't have one. They'll say, why didn't she do a giveaway? Well, the box is still full over here. I'm trying to, root it down a little bit because there's stuff all over this house that I can put in there and fill it back up again. Joyce McGuire's in the house. Here. We got Crystal McGuire and we got Joyce McGuire. 2 different spellings. I don't think they're related. Crystal's down in Georgia and Joyce is in Arizona,
where all the server farms are for some unknown reason.
Now Joyce, that's Fred's mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Fred's my cockatiel. Fred's in love with her cockatoo, Miss Becky, that's a pole dancer. We can't make this stuff up. Yeah, we can't make this stuff up.
Oh my goodness!
Long distance bird relationship going on there.
Oh, crazy romance in the house with the birds. Dave Hart said he took 15 stores until he bought a freezer so he can start storing food in. And my full-size stand-up freezer looks like a refrigerator, but it's all freezer. It stopped working in the garage one day, threw out all the food, unplugged it, never turned it on again. I'm like, how do I trust it? Like, if I plug it in and it works, am I going to stock it up with $500 worth of food? I don't trust it anymore.
Well, have a tech come out, take a look at it, test it all out, and make sure it's working good before you start filling it up with food.
I can't trust it. I don't know what it is. I can't get past it. It failed me once. I'm like, you're dead to me now.
Yeah, it's not a good thing when they quit and they're full of food. Mine's full of food, and luckily, I've not had any issues with it.
Dave said his freezer broke. Well, I feel you, brother.
Yeah, that's never a good thing when the freezer breaks down.
I would fill it with everything too, man. I would fill it with chicken wings, pizzas, popsicles, you name it, man. That like you open a door and it starts falling out. There's like so much stuff in it.
That is how mine is right now. But it's got meat. I've got pulled pork. I've got pork roast. I've got a ham. I've got
some
bacon.
buffering comments.
Well,
is everything okay with the stream?
Nothing I can do about it.
Can you see
be a problem on YouTube's end or something?
Can you go to YouTube and the streaming setup and see if the stream health tab?
I don't know where to find that crap.
Portal Woodworks is here. Hi, Portal. No, other people are saying it's good. Mine was full, didn't need food for 6 months. See, here's a good tip. This is maybe a mind equals blown thing, maybe not, but in disaster relief areas, when they come in and deal with the abandoned homes and, try and do the humanitarian effort, they say never, ever open a fridge or a freezer because the food will rot because there's no electricity.
Right.
And the vapors are so lethal, it can kill you inside of 2 minutes. Like it is that deadly because the protocol is to go in with duct tape and duct tape the freezer shut and the refrigerator shut and then haul it out and never open it. Because you think, if it's bad, I'll get a whiff and I'll just go outside. No, you open it up, you smell it, you run outside, you drop dead. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Jeez, I did not know that. That's
something about, the rotting food in that enclosed space, and it just ferments and gets nastier and nastier. Super lethal.
Wow.
So just, I don't know whoever is going to be in that situation, but if you ever find yourself in a situation going into an abandoned house, there was a working fridge, X amount of weeks ago or whatever, never open it. Never. True story. That mind equals blown. There you go.
That's good information to know. I did not know that.
Yep.
Wow.
It is no joke. No joke. Frankie says, I will buy parts for freezers that I own. Any part that I can go buy, I start hunting shortly after. Just have to have them. Cool. Cool.
Jim Bashir says, what about kimchi?
What's he talking about?
That is some kind of, I think, a Vietnamese dish, and it's fermented. I'm not real familiar with it, but.
Hey, see, I got a taco from Dave Hart for the first interesting fact. Thank you, Dave Hart. I'm supposed to dish out the tacos. He's doing my job. How much do I pay you? How about I pay him double my mind equals blown salary?
There you go. Yeah.
How much is 0 times 2? Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. I kid. The NDT show is here. That's Nathan, right?
That's Nathan. He says, hello, Brenda. And all in the chat at work, like usual. Have a great stream. Thumbs up. Take care. Good to have you dropping in.
Korean fermented cabbage is what kimchi is. Fermented. That's why he said it.
Yeah. And they bury it in clay pots.
Dave Hart put a money bag emoji up there. There you go. You're rich.
That's one thing you will never get from this show is rich.
If someone becomes a co-host for Mind Equals Blown, you don't do it for the money.
That's right. That's right. One thing you will never get from this show is rich.
You do it for the lulls. Did you ever hear that expression? Do it for the lulls.
Yep. Oh, my goodness. Well, everything has been relatively quiet except for the fair going on here in town. Everybody's kind of got their mind on that this week. And that's a good thing, although I've read a lot of stuff online about how a lot of these stores are not giving change anymore, and they're forcing you to use your debit card or your credit card to buy your food with. And you can't use cash anymore, or you won't get no change back. Woohoo! Look at that. Give Matt a dollar.
Thank you,
Turn
Portal.
on the lights. We have a dance party going. Woohoo!
Mr. David Jones in the house. Thank
Thanks,
you.
David. I appreciate that. But yeah, I guess, they're going to start cracking down on masks in a lot of places, and force you to wear masks inside businesses and all that. This town's been real lax on that. You just, if you want to wear one, you can. If you don't want to wear one, it's not been a big deal. But I guess a lot of these businesses now are going to be forced by the government to force everybody into wearing the mask. So that's going to be interesting. See how that works out.
When you talk about this, I think of the meme with a guy sitting at a bar holding up a pint glass saying, I'm just going to sit here till this whole thing blows over.
Yep.
Tuckered away with his friends, doing whatever the hell he wants.
Or you start fighting back. I like that one I passed around on Facebook today. But you just go around in the store and you start taking out the processed foods and the pop and stuff out of people's carts and tell them, well, this is to protect everybody. It's not about you. It's about everybody else.
What does processed foods and soda have to do with that comment?
Because it's not good for you.
Oh, jeez.
So, I'll just go taking everybody's foods out of their carts when I'm going through the store.
Someone gave my wife heck because she bought milk. And they're like, no, you need to do the skim milk or something like that.
Oh, for God's
sake. Someone ever told me something like that, it would be over.
A fella about got whooped one day by me in a convenience store. I had bought gasoline. And I went in to pay for my gasoline. I picked a candy bar up out of, how they have that little shelf thing. It's got all the candy bars. I picked a candy bar up because I hadn't had any lunch. And, this will tide me over until I can get home and get supper ready. And I bought that candy bar. And this guy is standing there with 3 packs of cigarettes in his hand and looks at me and points at the candy bar and says, that's not good for you.
Like, honey, please.
Wrong girl, wrong day. And you should have seen the look on the cashier's face because she thought sure I was going to whoop him right there in that store.
My fun response is, if I wanted your opinion, I would beat it out of you.
Yeah.
Mark Lindsay CNC is here. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you. My grandma lived to be 104. Minding her own damn business. Oh, that's a good one.
Via Jan 20's here. Hello.
Oh my goodness. Jimbo is in the house and he says his wife fell yesterday and broke her shoulder and she goes in for surgery tomorrow.
Oh, hi Jimbo. I didn't see you slip in. Oh, best of luck to her. My goodness. That's not fun.
No.
I presume. I've never broken my shoulder.
Well, Jimbo, stop pushing her. If you wouldn't push her, she wouldn't fall down and hurt herself like that.
Yeah.
Jan 20's in the house. And Steve's in the house. Steve, I hope that you're feeling good. That everything's mending well. I ain't heard much out of you since you had your big hoo-ha there going at the hospital.
Look at this. McGuire Research is inviting me to share my views on issues facing my community.
Why don't they ever ask me?
Let me respond and hit record. Okay, Brenda, go. You're on. Let me tell you something about the local government.
They never asked me for my opinion on nothing. Oh, my goodness. Be careful what you ask for.
I like to take the political opinions and then, put in the complete opposite of how I feel just to throw off the pollsters.
Steve says he's on the mend. First doctor appointment next week to see if he fixed anything.
Excellent. Good to hear, Steve.
Yeah.
I hope the continued success happens in your recovery.
Frankie says my grandpa Frank was 90 something when he passed and was in the wars, drank wild turkey, and smoked Camel non-filters every day. And he started at 17.
Wow. Simply Wooden Creations is here. Mr. Russ Clarity, hello.
Good to see you, Russ. Glad you joined us.
Oh, he's got gout. It's much better, he says.
His gout's improving. That's good. They finally got him on some medication that's working. That's no fun. I've had it, and you never want to see gout come visit.
Nope. See, my grandmother smoked and drank all her life, but it was never in excess, I guess. Well, how much do you consider excess? Like, she would always have brandy, but she would never go crazy with it. And frankly, I think when you're up there in the years, moderate amounts of alcohol will do wonders for your system because it thins your blood. The organs don't have to work as hard. Now too much, then you've got other problems. But and then she stopped. She stopped with the brandy, and it wasn't long after until,
Well, even the Bible, if you're a Bible believer, the Bible says a little bit of wine for your stomach's sake. Now, it doesn't say drink until you fall down and can't, find the floor anymore.
Right.
It says a little bit of wine for your stomach's sake. Mark Lindsay says, my grandmother believed that apricot brandy would cure anything from a cold to cancer.
Brandy. Yep, that's what she drank. Brandy, my grandmother. Sorry, my TV keeps flipping to this screen because it only stays on. Someone time it. How about we do that?
I thought you was going to fix that by now.
Well, I tried. It's a lot harder than you think. I'm a technology expert, but when you're dealing with television apps, your technology expertise only go as far as the television apps can handle. And they slap those apps together with like interns from, they don't know what they're doing. And it's so, I'm at my wit's end. If anyone has a television app that will work on Roku, that will do a slideshow, that doesn't go black between the slides, please let me know. I've tried them all. It's insane.
Well, you're on all them Reddit groups. Why don't you ask somebody over there on Reddit? Somebody over there probably knows.
I was just on Reddit today with my Rodecaster Pro mix. I had a funny technology faux pas. I could have kicked myself. I'm so embarrassed. Do you want to hear about it?
Sure.
So I bought this fancy new mixer, and it's wonderful. But when I got it, I turned it on, and it wouldn't power on. So I turned it on 5 or 6 times, and it finally came on. And then I was using it the one day, and I was doing something. I turned back, and it was off. Like, I didn't power it down. I bet you this has an electrical problem. So then I was moving it around, putting in different equipment. I want to see if it'll pump the TV through it, my piano through it. I'm doing tests, and I put it back on the desk, and it won't power up. And I'm like, so I go onto the road system. I open a ticket. I'm like, give me an RMA. It won't power on, or it's very sporadic. And I'm waiting for him to get back. And then I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm so embarrassed. So the electrical cord goes to one of those bricks. And then and the one end of the brick has a computer electrical cord that plugs into but you can plug it in and out. So I unplugged the electrical cord from the brick, and I plugged it back in. And when I plugged it back in, it seated in farther. I didn't have it freaking seated far. Like, it must have been in where it was just barely in, where sometimes I would hit it just by happenstance. It would just be that close.
You're the guy.
The cable plugged in the whole way. Oh, it was so bad.
You're the guy that they got that question that the techs always ask when you call in about having a computer problem, and they say, is it plugged in?
See, I was a troubleshooting tech. I was in that role, and I've had it all. But this, I was just like, you know what? And I would do everything. Like, I would unplug the power from the unit and plug it back in, and plug it, and then try and get it to go. And like, maybe I'm not pushing the button hard enough, or like maybe the button, because the on button is like a spring button. Like it's just not a rocker on off. And I thought, well, maybe it's one of those, like, you know how you start an iPhone? Well, maybe you don't. Like if you touch the on button too quick, like it won't come on. Like you have to push it down and then let it up. So I thought maybe it powers on the up state. And I'm just freaking cable wasn't seated the whole way.
Well, Pixie's channel came in the house. We'll say hey to Pixie's channel.
Not Pixie. I'm just complaining about technology.
They're over there in the UK. They say hello from across the pond before they go off to bed. Glad you dropped in. It's good to see you. Let's see. Joyce was gone, and then she came back. Said she's having some computer problems. The funniest unfunny guy is in the house. You need to check out his channel.
Hi, funniest unfunny guy. Welcome back to the channel. Anthony Schaus is active again. We saw you at the top of the show, and now you're chatting away. That's good.
Yeah, I think when I sent out all the notices about the show this evening that Anthony was trying to do a live stream. Yeah. Bless his heart. I'm disturbing him in the middle of his live stream, telling him I'm about to go live. Oh, but the funniest unfunny guy, you know, it was a case of mistaken identity when he first come in here, and bless his heart, I'm glad he's got a sense of humor, you know, and can see that an old lady will make mistakes, but he does have a funny channel. I think you'll get a kick out of him if you go over there and take a look at some of the stuff he's got. And Portal says he caused the problems like you had, Matt, the ID10T problem.
Idiot. Yeah. Oh, you want to hear? You want to see another fun problem I'm dealing with? I have to go in this closet. Give me a second.
Oh, Lord. He's going in the closet.
I'm coming out of the closet. All right, look at this. So I was dealing with my friend in the UK. He's an audio expert. He's giving me some consulting. I bought some speakers. I need to power them. So I need, you know, stage quality speaker, you know, instrument cables. Look at the size of this cable. And look at how much plastic is on these things. It's so much plastic. I can't plug both of these into the unit. They need to be closer together. So I need to take this down into my wood shop, put it on the benchtop belt sander, and sand off some of this so I can get both of these closer than that.
Just make sure you don't get into any wires when you go to sanding on it.
Oh, I'm sure there's a whole ton of plastic on there. So I got look at that. Look at how thick that wire is for the speaker. Like this is an iPhone cable. These speakers.
Ooh, that's industrial.
Oh, I was going to buy these speakers. This guy says go to this website. It's in the UK, but they have a US version. These monitor speakers, you know, like when you go in a recording studio, they got those high-end speakers. I was going to buy some of them, and I'm like, oh yeah. He says, no, these are the best. And I'm like, oh, these seem pretty good price. I didn't order them because they were back ordered until the end of August, and they would come with the European plug. So I would have to step it down from 220, and I'm like, this is too much. But I looked up the exact same model sold by US retailers. It was $400 more for the exact same thing if you bought it in the United States. So whatever this European company was, I was going to save $400 on this unit, but I would have had to deal with the 2-prong European plug, and I'm like, oh, I would love to have those high-end speakers, but so I bought a different kind of speaker. And I'm gonna power them with this huge, like this could go on like the Motley Crue stage. Anyway. My audio setup is getting pretty awesome, and it was a slow grind too. I am not wealthy. This has been a long 5 years, slowly, nickel and diamond.
Yep.
Every new upgrade.
Yep.
I'm finally at the point where I can get it the way I want.
Yeah, Frankie said he uses the same sort of plugs on his PA system. That's what you have.
That's what I'll have. I'll have a PA system with studio recording monitors, not like not like big Marshall stacks. But now that I'm playing an instrument, I'm starting to get into that side of it. And here's what I've found out. Instruments are expensive. Like anyone that plays an instrument, you've got to outlay cash. And it's better to be on the business side of music than the actual musician, because the musician's got to buy the instrument. It's got to buy $20 cables like this. I need 2 of them. It never ends. It never ends. And I'm like, the musician is the worst part of the business because they take all the risk and spend all the money. It's crazy.
Yeah, the amplifiers and everything that you got to have to go along with the equipment so that it can be heard, and speakers, and
I spent $30 on an SD card so I can record. It's like the cost just like rain down upon you, and these little $40 here or $20 here. It doesn't end.
I'm still trying to recover from all the money that I put into my system 2 years ago. I'm thinking another 6 months I should be out from under the debt.
Your streaming rig for YouTube.
Yeah, monitors and lights and green screen and the new computer and a new microphone, new camera.
No, it's tough. Scarlet QM is here. Hello. And
hey,
Porter
Scarlett.
Woodworks. He says Matt's upgrade schedule is like his delivery schedule, slow. What was it? It was 504 days I took to deliver an item that Porter Woodworks gave me to a friend who lives in my state. I drove it halfway across the country. Anyway, 540. If you need anything hand delivered, I can guarantee you 504-day delivery time. I'm just saying.
Dave Hart says he spent thousands of dollars to make $50 playing guitar on a Saturday night.
See, that is what I'm starting to understand. And that is why I have no aspirations of stage performances or a recording career. I'm doing it 100% for fun.
Yep.
Just for funsies.
Yep.
Don't even get me started on my drums. Now I can't even play them, says Jim Shears. I saw. I'm following these drum channels, and those electric drums, like all digital drums, are amazing.
I haven't seen
First
that.
of all, it's just like you're hitting leather. Like that's all the sound that they make.
Yeah.
Just audible to the ears. But when you plug them into a computer, they sound like real drums. The cymbals are all rubber, but they act just like cymbals. You can crash the cymbal and then grab it to stop the sound. It's amazing. That's what I have, Matt. Roland V drums, says Jim Bashirs. Wow.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, I can. Let me show you what they are.
Okay.
All right. Take me a minute. Why don't you carry the show for a while?
I've got all kinds of musical equipment here. Very little of it can I play. I can play the kazoo. I can play the cowbell.
Well, cowbell's easy. Did you ever see cowbell on sheet music? It's just the same note.
And I can play the hell out of it.
And it's always like the solid note, because you can't like sustain the note. Like you can't play and hold it. It's always clank.
That's right.
There's never a double
very simple. Cowbell is simple. Now, Mark Lindsay gave a pro tip. He says, never buy more drums than you can take to the pawn shop in one trip.
Oh, that's pretty harsh.
Dave's asking me, can I play the radio? On occasion. Some days are better than others. I've got a steel guitar. I got a regular guitar. I can't play either one of them.
Here they are.
I got a stack of harmonicas in all different keys, and I can't play them either.
I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
These drums they look like drums. See how the cymbals are black plastic?
Yeah.
Very cool. Here, let me do this. Let me
So if you're just sitting there in a room with them without them plugged into anything, it's just like a thud. It's not like a real drum sound.
That's exactly right. Here, watch this. Let me change my software here.
Mark Lindsay says that he makes guitars. The only thing that he can play is the stereo.
There we go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a minute. Now you should be able to hear my computer too.
A second rack tom.
Yep.
But I felt like going old school and keeping the one rack tom.
Watch, she starts. That's all they make.
But as soon as you plug in your headphones,
I mean, come on.
That's right. You can choke the cymbals on these.
I'm pretty amazed. I like that. That's cool. Technology.
I've always thought I'd like to learn to play the drums, especially living in town.
To cheese off your neighbors?
Anything that makes noise, I'm very happy with.
Why?
See, right outside my front door, I had them sink a post and put a big dinner bell on it. And then I've got a rope that runs from the top of the dinner bell right to the side of my front door. So anytime, day or night, I can slip up there to the front door and get a hold of that rope and be clanking that dinner bell. I particularly like to do that about 3 a.m.
All right, I'm having trouble here. Here we go. All right,
yeah, I particularly like to ring that dinner bell about 3 a.m.
3 a.m.?
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh.
So they like to mow their yards at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they like to set fireworks off until about 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, man.
And, so I thought, hey, if this is a game anybody can play, y'all watch this.
Did you say to yourself, challenge accepted?
and I've got a, what do you call them? It sounds like a horn that's on a 18-wheeler. I've got that in my van. So if I have to go out of here anytime, like in the middle of the night for anything, I love to go down through the alley honking that horn.
You talked about that. Like you lay on it, it's like,
Yep.
Someone said, Portal Woodworks, you need a train horn. Wah, wah.
Well, I don't know that they necessarily notice that much because I'm about a mile, I guess, from the train tracks, and I can hear the train good and plain when it goes through town. So they probably wouldn't notice the train horn much. But yeah, it sounds like there's a semi coming down through the alley. I think that probably gets their attention. I know it wakes their dogs up.
Trains are awful. Where I go get my hair, I have to go through downtown. There's anyway, not my town, the town where I grew up. And I pass the worst place to live in America for sound because my buddy had an apartment there. It was across the street from a church. Church bells always going off. 18-wheelers would tear down the street all the time. And it's just like two ways. It's not like multiple lanes. It's
Right.
two lanes and cars parked on each side. So the 18-wheelers go down there. It's right on top of Harrisburg International Airport. So the planes would scream down and the train tracks were less than a block away. There was so much racket in this apartment from the church and the trucks and the trains and the planes. I was like, how do you get out? Get out. Like, why do you live here? It's the worst place in the world to live.
Somebody finally got the attention, I guess, of this church next door and made them stop playing the music over there. I told you how they have the church bell music chime thing, and
Okay.
they'd play it 3 times a day, every day, and 4 times on Sunday. And it played at noon, it played at 6 p.m., and it played at midnight. And it would go for 20 minutes at a time. Same songs every time. 365 days a year. And on Sunday, they'd also play it at 10 a.m., right before the church service, I guess. And enough to drive you crazy with them playing it constantly. You know, people that didn't live around here, if they heard it, you know, was coming through town and heard it, and isn't that pretty? I said, yeah, unless you live next door to it.
Yeah,
and
right.
It'll send you crazy. But yeah, they finally cut that out over there.
Mark Lindsay says, I lived on an Army airfield for 6 years, Crimea River. I didn't live there. I didn't live with this, this is my friend's apartment. I was far away from there. I would go visit.
Well, it's probably a lot like, they say if you buy a house next to the railroad tracks, the first few times the train comes through, like the first week, you notice it. But after that, you just tune it out. You don't hear it anymore when it goes through.
Portal said, Mark, try aircraft carriers. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to live in Vandalia, Ohio, which is right there where the Dayton International Airport is. And the what is that courier service that I want to say Piedmont? It's not Piedmont. It's no, it's the airline that carries packages. They'd start in about 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you'd hear it would just be one plane after the next buzzing, and this would go on for several hours.
Taking off or landing or both?
Both.
Oh, jeez. Well, I was near the airport, and some of my friends lived really close to it, and it's just like you can be out there barbecuing. Plane comes in, and people just talk like it's not even like they're just so used to it. It doesn't even faze them. And you have people from out of town. They're like, "Oh my god!" Like, calm down.
Yeah, Mark Lindsay says, truth, Brenda. Don't even notice the sound of the aircraft anymore. Yeah, you just get adjusted to it.
Yeah.
When I used to be in real estate, and they taught us to learn how to overcome objections with properties. And the one big example they gave is that somebody had a whole row of houses they needed to sell that was right next to the railroad track. And so what they decided to do was they was going to give a free TV with the purchase of a house, with every house. And the only time they would show the house is right before the train came through. If the train came through at 3 o'clock, they'd show the house, start showing the house like 2:45. So that, the people are looking at the house, they're checking out the rooms, looking at the property and everything. And then here comes the train.
So they would want the train.
They wanted the train coming through. And then that would be the objection. It's like, well, I like the house, but I don't know about that train. And they're saying, look, we're giving a free TV with the house. After you have lived here for a little bit, you're not going to notice that train anymore. You're going to become accustomed to that train coming through, but you'll still have the free TV. Right. And that's how they'd overcome the objection.
So that's good that they wanted to make sure that the potential homeowner knew about that's very ethical. Mm-hmm. That's better than saying, why don't you come over at 3:05?
Yeah.
That would be unethical.
Yeah. When I bought this house, they didn't warn me about the church bell thing next door, the music constant. What they said was, you live in an area with a lot of churches. It's a very spiritual area. And the day I moved in, I got introduced to the church bells next door. The first couple of times it was like, well, okay, I guess I can put up with this. And then when you figure out that they're playing it 3 times a day, every day, and Sunday it's 4 times a day.
Dave Hart has to go set up his freezer. Good luck with that, Dave. Drop a like on your way out, please.
Check on that freezer and make sure that it's going to keep the vittles cold.
Well, Jim Shears had a good idea. He's like, put beer in it, crank it up. Oh, that was for refrigerators, not freezers, but yeah.
Yeah, Jim Bashir says, won't notice it till it derails. I lived in an apartment building that had a train track running behind it back when I first got married. And one night, laying there in bed, and I hear what sounds like a bunch of trash cans being flung or something. I'm like,
this isn't going to end well.
I'm like, what in the hell is all that noise? And then it stopped, and I thought, well, whatever they've knocked over, I guess, they're satisfied with it. I rolled over and went back to sleep. Next morning, I got up. A train on that track had derailed and run into the grain elevator. And when I looked out the windows, there's this train scattered everywhere.
Yeah. I taught my son when he was learning to drive. I'm like, anything versus a train, the train will win. Nothing will stop that train from going. Like, you can put a semi truck on the tracks, it'll blow through it like cardboard. Yeah.
Mark says his freezer went out in February, still waiting on the stores to get some in so we can replace it. Hey, we've got an appliance dealer here in town that they've got freezers. They're advertising them online all the time. They got freezers up there at the store. So there ain't no excuse, Mark. You get in touch with the store and say, why ain't you got freezers? It's summertime. People want to put food up. What's the matter with you? Line them out. Well, we probably need to do a giveaway. Do you realize it's almost 7:45?
Get that going.
Okay, here's how this works. I'm going to show you 4 items. And you can, if you win, you can pick one of those items. Or if you've seen something else that I've had up recently that you'd rather have, then just tell me that, and because I'm easy to get along with.
There's special consideration for out of country people, right?
Yeah, if you're out of country, you can still play, but I need you to pay the shipping to get it to you. Or you can give it to somebody else that's in the chat if that's what you want to do. Like I say, I'm easy to get along with. And after the show, whoever wins needs to make sure that I have your address so that I can get this to the post office tomorrow. And I'm not going to chase you. You find me. I'm easy to find. My email address is in the description of every one of my videos. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you can hit me through Messenger. You can do it through Instagram, Twitter. I'm easy found. So make sure I have your address tonight so I can get this addressed and ready to go in the morning. I have a number written down between 1 and 10. So after I show you these items and I say go, then you can put the number there in the chat. I'll show you what we've got here. I have got a box of these natural dishwasher pods that go in your dishwasher, soap pods. And let's see what it says here on the box. They're unscented dish detergent pods. And here I don't have my spyglass up here to see the fine print, but you put them in the dishwasher like you do any other soap, and they get your dishes clean. And there's 32 of these in the box. I have these fancy sunglasses. They're clip-ons, but they clip on. You put these on first, and then you put your glasses on, and they clip over your sunglasses. There's these fancy sunglasses, and they come in this hard shell case. And there's a little pad in there to keep them polished up and good and clean. So we got that. And we've got one of these necklaces that I make. This is the crystal style necklace.
Ooh, wow.
So if you like bling.
That is not dainty.
There is your bling, 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 bling. And I've got
Jim says you could watch a nuke go off with the sunglasses. I'm ready. Clip.
Then you got your hammock in the bag, brand new, never been out of the bag. Clip that between a couple trees or a couple posts and sit out there and read your book in the shade. So we've got that. And now I've got a number written down here.
Oh, Mark's telling me to get a disco ball for my Monday show. Yeah, I've got a strobe light. That's kind of like a disco ball. Yeah, strobe light.
That'll set off your epilepsy.
One time when I was younger, we decided to spar because we were all into karate with the strobe light on. That was not fun. Someone swept my legs and I'm like, I'm weightless, and then crashed into the ground. Like I couldn't see anything. I'm just like, oh, I'm not standing up anymore. And then smash. I was like, let's not fight in the strobe light anymore, please.
And Mark Lindsay says that this would make a good disco ball.
Oh, right. There we go. Cool.
Well,
if you hang that in your window when the sun's hitting it, it would explode into the room with disco ball-like features.
Yep. And I do these in different colors. This is the multicolored one. So there we go. There's the 4 items: the dish pods, the necklace, the sunglasses, and the hammock. And I got a number written down here on the pad. It's between 1 and 10.
People can only put 1 entry in, right?
Yeah, let's just do 1 entry. Let's see if anybody can get it on 1 entry. And go. It's not
Boycott
5.
Matt Haas is here. Says 5.
It's not 5. And we have a winner.
3. Serious, a capital E and a lowercase e right next to each other.
I did that just for you.
Oh. I can understand if the E's were separated and you kind of lost track, but they were right next to each other.
This'll drive him nuts.
I work for a publisher. That would never fly.
Nobody works harder than I do to set Matt off.
It doesn't take much.
Oh, he loves my puns that I put up there on the on the
No,
Facebook.
No, I don't.
He loves them. Sometimes I'll just put like 1 or 2 up, and then I'll hit him with about 8.
The problem is when you put 1 or 2 up, I keep searching for the 3rd and the 4th one, and they're never there. And just to be clear, those GIFs that I comment is my protest against those memes. So I'm just waiting for that to like knock you over the edge and you stop doing it. But I have a feeling that'll never happen. Star S is in the house. Hello, Star S.
I have tenacity.
You know, some of them are just so wrong and so unfunny and so bad. Now, in reality, yeah, most of them are good. But every once in a while, I'm just, like, there was one, like, I saw it and I didn't put a gift comment. I was like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Couldn't bring myself to do it.
Well, congratulations, Jim. Which one of them do you want? He said, "Oh, hammock." He says he's having another back surgery, 6 weeks in the hammock. All right, so we will send him the hammock.
Congratulations, Jim.
And I will put this note on there that it's for Jim. And Jim, I know you sent me your address a while back, but if you wouldn't mind, doing that again, so I don't have to dig for it, I'd appreciate it.
So it's brenda.gibson at gmail.com.
He'll hit me through Facebook. All right. So there we got that one.
Oh, you know what? I have sound effects. Let me do the sound effects for Jim winning. How about this?
Okay.
Can you hear that? Is that making noise for you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I hear him cheering. You're welcome, Jim.
How about this one? should put in my headphones. I'm not even doing it right.
Star S is in the house. We'll say hey to Star. Good to have you with us.
Hello,
Hit
hello.
that thumbs up button. Joyce says, Brenda, the mail just got here, the necklace. Thank you very much. It's beautiful. So, see, I send them out right away. I don't have any control about what the post office does with stuff when I take it, but I took it last Friday. So,
did you see the news article where the post office took away all overtime, and if the mail doesn't go out, it sits till the next day? And there have been days where we haven't got mail.
What happened to that oath that they're supposed to take?
Yeah, rain, shine, sleet, or snow. Well, if the money runs out, then I guess not.
Yeah.
But
it's only as good as the money is, huh?
I've seen the Postmaster General do the address to Congress saying, we need some cash. And they're like, you're supposed to be self-funding. And they're like, we know, but we need some cash.
They're supposed to have something in this stimulus package coming up that covers that, but who knows? You know, by the time they get done debating it and fighting about it and roughhousing and whatever they're going to do, who knows what they'll come up with. But it's interesting to watch YouTube because I watch all these channels that talk about the stimulus, and they do shows every day. And there's, rarely anything new comes up about this because they've been on vacation for the last 3 weeks. And people coming up with all kinds of outlandish ideas on what they think is going to be put in this next stimulus package or left out. One day it'll be, great things, and the next day it'll be, oh, they're not going to put nothing through. Like, well, I don't know what happened to you overnight, because yesterday I just watched your show and it was going to be fantastic. And now all of a sudden you don't think there's going to be nothing. So, yeah, it's interesting to watch them.
I could use another stimulus check. Oh, this week is the first week where I returned to 5 days a week. They had cut my hours for 14 weeks. So for 7 paychecks, I got 20% less.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yep.
Big time.
Yep.
But I'm happy to have a job. So I'm happy about that. But still, finally, and I have to reset my 401k because I backed it down because, any way to get cash in your paycheck, but whatever.
Yeah. Joyce says the mailman yesterday showed up in a personal vehicle. So they're taking their mail trucks away from them too, apparently.
Oh, that's right. They needed to prepay into retirement for 75 years, billions of dollars. There was some action back in the 90s that they're still reeling from. Something about, they have to have the funds to cover retirement. I tell you what, pensions. There's a reason pensions went away in the 90s is because it's expensive for companies to pay pensions. And when they hired me, I have 12 months in the pension system until they kicked everyone out and then moved us all to 401k. But I still have that 1 year. Yeah. That 1 year in the you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get $21 a month for life after I retire. $21.
By the time you retire, you won't be able to buy a Big Mac with that $21.
I know, right? Well, they said you could cash it out. And of course, at my age, I would pay a penalty on it.
Yeah.
Or you can roll it into another retirement thing, but then you won't get the $21. And if you do nothing, you get the $21 a month for life. I'm like, I'm going to hold out for the $21. It'll be my Netflix bill, or I don't know. It'll be a Starbucks coffee will probably be $21 in 10 years when I retire.
Well, when I was teaching,
or 15 years, good God,
they ended the program that I was teaching, and so the money that was being put into my retirement was there that I had to do something with it. Well, I checked into it. And see, this was just a 8-week class that I taught once a year for 8 years. So I didn't have a whole lot of time in. It's just that I'd, done it for 8 years. And so there was something there. So I checked into it. It was like $825 that I had accumulated in that period of time. So I said, well, we'll just cash this out. And when I cashed it out, I didn't think much of it. But when I went to pay my taxes, they ate about all that up in the taxes. So,
yeah, easy. Now Jim Bashir says it won't be $21. You'll have to split that with your wife. It's funny because if I did want to roll it over into the retirement, it would need a notary signed paper from my wife saying that she releases any action, future or current, from those funds. For 21, it would cost more just to hire anyway.
Well, now, what I've always said. She has to be involved because of what she's got in her purse.
You're all wrong about that one. I'll tell you that much. A fun fact: when I sold my first house, I bought my house just me, like before we were married. It was my house, and when I went to sell my house, my wife needed to be there to sign paperwork.
Yep.
So she wouldn't come after
our rights.
The new owner. I'm like, it's my house. She needed to be there. And same thing with window. What is it with people who sell replacement windows? Because for that old house, I'm like, yeah, why don't you come on site, give me a quote for replacement windows? Oh, well, we need your wife there. I'm like, it's my house. No, but we need your wife there. No, it's literally my house. She's not on any of the paperwork. We need your wife there. I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, well then we're not coming. I'm like, well then you're not getting my business. So like, what the hell?
Yep.
And it wasn't so much for principle, out of principle. I'm not a jerk about it. It's just she has no interest in that type of stuff. Like she doesn't want to spend her time dealing with a vendor giving us a quote. She's like, I got stuff, she just
whether you like it or not, when you get married, your balls go in her purse. That's just the way it is. You don't have to like it. You don't have to accept it. It's just the way it is. I've told him this, I don't know how many times, for all of you out there in the chat, and he just does not want to accept that that's part of life. Nana's Cooking's in the house. Good to have you with us this evening.
Hi, Nana. Welcome.
You walked in at an interesting time here.
Cooking Craft Corner. That's a great YouTube name. Nana S. Cooking Craft Corner.
Got a good channel going on there, too. Always good to see her.
Very nice.
But yeah, this deal with the post office, I don't know. I mean, I sent a package and went to Wisconsin, got there in 2 days. I mailed it on a Monday. They called me on Wednesday, told me that they had it, told me what they was going to do to repair the item, and that they'd be shipping it right back. That was a week ago yesterday, and I still don't have it. So I called them up today, and I said, are you planning to mail that back or what? And they said, well, we mailed it. We mailed it last Wednesday. When we called you, we told you it was repairing it and going to put it right back in the mail. And I said, well, give me a tracking number. And they put me on hold for 20 minutes. They come back, and they don't have a tracking number. Said they sent it priority, but they don't have a tracking number. I said, well, give it another day or two and then call us up and let us know if you got it. Well, good Lord. I mean, how many days are we going to give it? I would think over a week, they should have been able to get it here from Wisconsin priority mail. So I'll give it till Monday and then start rattling the cages again. But
my buddy, my co-host for the Wednesday show, we do verbose Wednesdays on the Shalala Productions Facebook page. It's not on YouTube. Anyway, he sent me, what is it, the 16th? The 11th. It was postmarked Saturday the 11th, and it just came today. That's a long time. 1, 2, 3.
That's 5 days.
Yeah. That seems excessive.
Well,
but It was the mail. They're not working. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not working overtime, I should say.
Been 8 days for my Wisconsin package and not here yet. So I don't know what to make of that. I'm not happy. See, Mr. Doughboy's in the house. Braden Brand Reality TV is in the house. Good to have both of you with us this evening.
Hello.
And Doughboy says that he sees that I have not trimmed my toenails. Huh?
How would you know that? Do you have a foot cam that you flip on every once in a while?
I don't know. I got shoes on. Because I had to run out to the mailbox real quick. I don't normally wear shoes in the house, but I had to run out to the mailbox real quick before the show started because I wanted to make sure that item from Wisconsin had not been stuck out there in the mailbox. I would think they'd bring it to the door, but who knows? So I went out there real quick to check the mailbox, and nope, it's not here yet. Goes along with.
I have one of those situations where I'm returning an item and they're going to pick it up at the door from UPS, but they didn't give me a barcode. They're like, the mail carrier will come with the barcode. I'm like, here, a Brenda situation's going to happen. I know it.
But they're going to throw that on the porch. They're going to stand way back. I think they got a slingshot, what they do, from across the street. And they pop that and it lands up there on your porch nice and quiet. So the dog's not disturbed. Nothing is disturbed. And you don't even know that they've been there until they're long gone.
Good night, Scarlett. She's going to bed. Drop a like on your way out, please.
Thanks, Scarlett. See you back here next week.
Yeah. Well,
I'm enjoying this for some more fun. Who knows?
I'm just like, should I put it out on the porch with a sign that says for UPS pickup return? Or should I leave it in the house and wait for them to ring the bell and then hand it to them? Because I'm feeling if I put it on the porch, someone might walk off with it. Anyway.
Well, Dave Hart, he works for the post office. He says that this virus thing is messing with the mail big time. Processing plants are short on people and slammed with all the online orders. More packages than Christmas right now. So maybe that's what's slowing it down. I mean, I found it interesting that it could get there in 2 days, but it's going to take over a week to get it back. And did you put it slow boat to China? I mean, are they walking here with it from Wisconsin? Oh God, what was that? Forrest Gump? They got Forrest Gump toting it from Wisconsin on his cross country trip.
Yeah, just started running. Yeah. Gonna stop coming to the stream too, says Mr. Doughboy. What'd I miss?
I don't know. He must be on a tote. He says, okay.
Oh, someone's playing footsies with him then, he says.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do any interesting facts. I think before we leave, we need to have at least one interesting fact out there. And
I gave one about the refrigerators.
Well, yeah, you did do that. But I'm putting one out. So
C-Dub's Journey's here. Hello.
Hey, C-Dub's, good to see you. She finally got in the house tonight. Here's an interesting fact for you. Goats were one of the first animals to be tamed by humans and were being herded 9,000 years ago.
Wow.
There's an interesting goat fact.
Okay. Very nice.
Most people did not know that goats went back quite that far, I guess.
Well, maybe they were domesticated for the longest.
Yep.
They seem like a pretty tame animal. Like, what's a goat going to do to you, really? I mean,
well, if you get a billy goat that's ornery, he can, because their heads are harder than a rock. 2 billy goats going at it, doing the headbutts. They just don't wear out. They'd do that for hours on end.
I've seen a lot of those videos where they plow into the kids and the kids go flying. I'm like, oh, poor little kid.
I had a billy goat that you could hear him for miles. He'd bang on the walls in the barn with his head. And it sounded like somebody was hammering on something with a sledgehammer.
Gosh.
He was an ornery thing. He would climb up in the rafters in the barn. You go in the barn to feed, and you're like, where is he? Because you wanted to keep an eye on him. You didn't want him sneaking up behind you and hitting you. So where is he at? and you're looking around, you hear something, and you look up in the rafters. He'd climb clear up in the rafters in the barn.
How does a goat climb walls and get up there?
It's anything they can get a hold of. They can get a hold of a beam, the vertical beams, and they'll go right up. That's why when you put fencing in for goats, you have to put the posts on the outside of the fence, because if the post is on the inside of the fence, they will go right up that post and right over the fence. But yeah, he'd get up there in them rafters, and I'd have to climb up there and get a hold of him, get him by the horns, and drag him back out of the rafters of the barn.
Not a job I would want.
I finally had enough of him. I was just fed up. He was knocking all the boards loose in the barn with his head and carrying on, and me chasing him up in them rafters. So I sold him to a couple fellas at one of them swap meets that I went to, and they didn't have a trailer with them, and they didn't have any kind of a crate to put him in. They was driving a truck that had a camper shell on the back of it. And when they got ready to leave, they stuck him in the back of that camper shell, and they closed the hatch thing there in the back over the tailgate, and it was a glass window. And I thought, oh, Lord, this is just trouble looking to happen. Next time I seen him, they said he butted out that back window in the truck on their way home with him, and that he had bullied every cow in the pasture. I guess they put him in the cow pasture. I said, well, better you than me is all I can tell you. Yeah. So my next billy goat I got, he was just a baby when I got him. And I could train him up the way I wanted him to go. He didn't have a bunch of bad habits then.
Okay.
He was.
Did you post a video with a bunch of baby goats in sweaters?
Yep. They had their jammies on.
The pajamas. That's right. I watched that.
They had their
why am I watching this, and why can't I stop watching it? It was a good video.
Oh, baby goats are a hoot. But yeah, my second billy goat, his name was Cletus. And whenever people would come around, if there was a lady in the group, he would smile at her. And he'd roll his upper lip way up over top of his teeth and hold his head up.
Little flirt.
Yeah, he was. One of my friends come over one day, brought her kids to see the goats, and we walk out there to the pen. And I called Cletus up there to the fence, and I said, okay, Cletus, what do you say? And he rolled that lip up and smiled at her. She says, what's he doing? I said, he's in love with you.
Oh.
So Dave Hart says that he had a goat jump in his mail truck once, delivered a package, and when he came back, the goat was in his truck. I saw a video today about a delivery guy that it was just an independent delivery guy, and he was delivering stuff in his car, and he stops at a house, and it had the camera on the driveway. That's how they figured this out. And there were some chickens milling around out there next to the driveway. He takes the package out of his trunk, leaves the trunk open, and goes and puts whatever the package was on the porch. And when he comes back, he's looking at his phone, didn't pay any attention, and closed the trunk lid. Drives away. There's a chicken in his trunk. He drives to some town to deliver the next package. And when he opened the trunk, the chicken jumps out. And he thought it was just somebody playing a practical joke on him and didn't pay any more attention to it. And then these people realized that one of their pet chickens is missing, and they played this video back and see it. They had to call the delivery company. Some lady in another town had been to this parking lot, caught the chicken, and taken it to her house. They had a hell of a time finding this chicken and getting this chicken back home.
Brenda, share my screen while you're telling the story. Can you, please?
There it is.
That Mark Lindsay said, Google goats Italy dam. So this is Let's see him climb this thing.
Yeah, they'll go right up the side.
Thank you, Mark Lindsay CNC, for the suggestion.
Yeah, Mark Lindsay says, gentle slope, you climb it.
Well, how about not? Jim Bashir says it's salt. It must be salt water that's holding back, I guess. I don't know. Oh, C-Dub's got to go. Says good night.
Good night,
no,
C-Dub.
he's saying good night to someone else.
Oh, okay.
Braden had to go.
Ah, okay.
Braden Brand, reality TV.
Well, we appreciate them for whatever time they can spend with us.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they learn a little something. We're not necessarily very educational, but sometimes we learn a little something here, whether we want to or not. Just like you learned about Tracy's purse.
Oh, something. Here's a YouTube piece of information. Something happened to me, YouTube related, that never happened to me ever before.
Oh, yeah?
I'm sitting here working because I get a phone call. I pick it up. It says, "Hi, I'm first name, last name from whatever state." I'm like, "Hello." She goes, "I saw your video. What kind of glue did you use at this one time?" I was like, what? Someone called me, asked me a question about a material I used in my Awesome Wood Things video. And I told her, I was like, I used this. And she had questions. She goes, "Did you need activator on that? Or did you just use the CA glue right out of the bottle?" I'm like, "I just used it right out of the bottle." I'm like, thank you for watching my videos. I was like, "I have a lot of other stuff up there I think you might like." She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm not that ambitious." And we had a quick conversation. And that was, I have no idea how she found. Now my phone number's not hidden from the internet. I have it on a couple. If you do Mount Haas, you will come across it. I don't, but okay.
Now, how many times do you have somebody call you up to ask you about something on your videos?
First time. It's the first time it ever happened.
Now, I've had people chase me around to Walmart to get my autograph. I had to stop wearing my leopard print stretchy pants and my tube top up there at the Walmart store because they was chasing me around up there. They recognized me. And
don't make me spit on my microphone. Oh.
Yeah. It's hell to be famous.
Oh, Mr. Doughboy 356 says that was me calling. Okay, Mr. Doughboy. Glad I could answer your question about CA glue and not using activator.
Now, I've had people send me messages on Messenger and stuff, and ask me questions. And
well, to her credit, she did send me a message, and I was in the bathroom, and I was going to answer it, but I was done going to the bathroom, and I never got back around to it. And then the next day she called me. I guess she was mad because I didn't answer her Messenger question fast enough. And this was Messenger on my Facebook page. It wasn't my Matt Haas. She's not friends with me. I don't know this person. I mean, she just someone who saw my video. She doesn't run in the community. She's not like a woodworker. Anyway, I was like, okay. Give her the answer.
Well, that's something about YouTube, though, that we've talked about, me and other people on YouTube for years, is that folks see us on here and they get acquainted with us by watching our shows, and they like our personalities, and they feel like we're all just family. And it's as a person that puts videos out on YouTube, I might find myself being a little bit backspaced, I guess is the best word for it, from the audience. But they're watching us and they're learning everything about us by watching all of our videos, everything we put out there on the internet. We don't know them because unless we've been watching their videos, but a lot of people don't even have a channel that they're putting videos on. And so they feel like, oh, she's like my sister, or, my best friend, or my best buddy in school or something. And we don't know anything about some of these people. So, you get kind of in an interesting quandary. Then you get off on some channels, where they have the stalkers that stalk them and want to cause problems in their families and their jobs.
Oh, well, hopefully that never happens.
Yeah.
But no, I hear you. It's an interesting dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. Mark Lindsay CNC says, see now, Matt, if you'd have had an affiliate link with that glue in the description, she wouldn't have called. I don't mind that she called. I was kind of, it was kind of like.
But the thing is, it kind of raises your eyebrows about, this person could find it. What other people could find it that might not have good intentions?
In fairness, I have my phone number publicly out there on the internet. On some of my websites, I list my phone number, which is fine. But
Jim Bashir says it was Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim says, fine, Brenda, I won't stop by having announced for dinner anymore. Jeez. We'll say the thing of it is, if you stop by here unannounced for dinner, I either A, would not answer the door, because I don't always just answer the door if somebody rings the bell, if I'm not expecting somebody, or B, I might answer it naked.
Okay.
Because when you come to my house, you come as I am.
I need to fire up the vinyl cutter and do a no soliciting sign, reverse letters, and put it on the inside of the screen door. So, because I had 2 solicitors this week. I had, we put in the solar panels down, I'm like, no. And then someone wanted to spray for bugs and trap animals. I'm like,
they don't read the sign, or they don't know what soliciting means. I've got one by my door. It don't work.
What word or words can I use besides soliciting?
I've tried peddlers, and that doesn't work either. They think they can't ride their bike in my yard.
I'd like the one sign where it says no, and it lists several things that they don't want. Mm-hmm. And then at the end it says Thin Mints are okay. Like, Girl Scout cookies. Ring the bell for Girl Scout cookies.
I like that one that says, I've already found Jesus, and I don't need whatever you're selling.
Windows, yeah.
And it gives this whole list of stuff. It says, but if you're here to give me money, ring the bell.
I went to a friend of a friend's house in Harrisburg, like the capital of Pennsylvania, and it said occupants are armed on the door. I was like, okay. Owner has shotgun, says boycott Matt Haas.
The one thing that does seem to have worked is I've got one of those doormats that's got the Ouija board on it.
What?
I stuck that out in front of my front door, and that slowed things down considerable.
We live near a Baptist college. The kids are out every weekend in the summer. Ooh. They trying to recruit?
Yep.
Have you found Jesus?
Mm-hmm. Is that like looking for Waldo?
Look at Mark Lindsay. Naked means you have no clothes on. Naked means you have no clothes on and you're up to something.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I just wear a big smile.
I feel naked without my tool belt.
Makes everybody wonder what I'm up to.
Oh, dear.
People look at me and say, what are you smiling about? Wouldn't you like to know?
You're going to make me spit my water out on my equipment. And I will not be happy.
Did you like the poem that I wrote yesterday and put on Facebook?
Yep.
Did you even notice it?
I'm sure I did. It didn't leave lasting memories. I think I saw someone else post it. Did you pick it up somewhere else?
No, that's my poem.
Oh, maybe I didn't see it. Go to your page now. Oh, see, it's all your puns. I can't find it through all the. Oh my God. What is. Are you kidding me? No way.
Which one? The one with the truck?
The truck crossing the bridge. Here,
Yeah.
I'll share it. Oh,
Yeah, that was too good not to put up.
there we go. Watch this. That's got to be CGI. There's no way that's real.
About the time you think that, oh, there is no more, you know, he's done now. It's over now. And yeah, then he just keeps going.
Oh, there's a lot on your wall that I don't see in the timeline. Well, you are busy.
Yeah.
We're still all one day. All these I scrolled up. It's still one day away.
I'm a Facebook fanatic.
Do I even comment on something? Oh, there's one comment. That's probably all mine. Yep.
Have they updated everybody else's Facebooks to the new and improved format? Or am I special?
Yeah, I noticed it was a little different. Does this look like it's a new format?
Yeah, well, I've got the dark format on mine, but yeah.
There's dark mode?
Yeah.
Where's dark mode? Dark mode! Oh, it's so much better.
Yeah, I'm digging down through it to see if I can find it here. Okay, I found it.
Oh, there's a billy goat jacking a big bull.
And I'll read it to everybody. All my woodworker friends and fixer friends will appreciate this one. But I finally found the perfect man. I could not ask for more. He cooks, he cleans, looks good in jeans, and he owns a hardware store.
I did read that. Yeah. Cannot. This new computer, I'm like, where's the volume? Has that touch bar. Brightness. I don't want brightness. I want volume. This is so stupid.
Well, then you go to the volume one and not the brightness one.
Well, it's a touch bar. It keeps switching. I don't know how to jack the volume up. Or maybe I'll do it this way. Oh, I put you on mute.
Well, don't do that.
No, you're not on mute. Oh, well, I have some new hardware, so I'm still getting used to it.
How long does it take you to break it in?
It took all weekend just to get all my apps on it configured up properly. I'm still doing little things here and there. Like my magnifying glass, I don't have a magnifying glass because I like to zoom in on things when I'm screen sharing. A couple little things there. My FTP program, I don't have all my shortcuts in it to my hundreds of servers.
Is this still a Mac computer?
It is.
So you're not going to bite the bullet and go Windows?
Well, I have a Windows for my CNC machine, but no, I'm Mac. I'm not gonna make the switch if I don't have to.
What's your motto? Once you have Mac, you never go back.
No, my motto is I like things not to crash.
Well, good luck with that.
And I went to use my old monitor, and it was so old, it wouldn't work anymore. It wasn't compatible with the USB-C because I had to go from USB-C to Lightning, from Lightning to mini DVI. It was too many dongles. It was like, ain't happening. So I bought a new monitor, a smaller monitor, but it has more pixels. This huge 27-inch monitor right here, it's smaller in size, but has 3008 pixels wide on my new monitor. It is enormous screen real estate. I freaking love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'm not planning to buy anything else for a while. I'm hoping that my laptop will make it till next spring, and then I'll probably get a new laptop. But I've been in debt long enough.
Yeah, I hear you. There we go. Now I got the volume where I wanted. I had to pump it through my system a different way because I can't control the volume on the computer because it's on the stupid touch bar.
I could just see the letters and emails and stuff flying to these people, telling them, "You need to fix this."
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say David wants to know. Then why did you get another computer if Macs don't crash?
It's a long story. The computer I had, my employer gave me, and I had the ability to install whatever I wanted on it. Well, the employer sold the company, and the new owners gave everyone upgraded laptops because for legal reasons, we have to abandon the old one so they can wipe it clean for security reasons. And the new one I have is locked down solid. I cannot install anything. So if I wanted to keep streaming and if I wanted to keep editing videos, I needed to get and my old one was 6 years old. And I don't know, but 6 years in technology years is like 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to have a new one. So I bought a new computer. So that's why my old one was 6 years old, which is way too long. And I had to abandon the computer I had, which I had ability to install stuff because the other one's all locked down tight.
Well, I'm hoping this custom computer that I had built, the Mega System over here, I'm hoping it'll last me 10 years.
And that's asking a lot from a computer because technology changes. I mean, they're going to change the chipsets in Macs. They're not going to be the Intel chips. They're going to go to the Apple chip. So the whole architecture is changing on Apple here in the next 2 years. And, even software, if you're a software company, it's hard to maintain your software supporting 10-year-old equipment.
Yeah.
10-year-old equipment is so long ago. 10 years ago, we were on, oh my God, what was it? Windows Vista? Like imagine Windows 10 years from now, it's going to seem like ancient.
Well, I think a lot of that is going to depend on the economy and a lot of things too. Things are tight. Things might not change quite as quick.
You know what will work in your favor and in everyone's favor is things are all now trying to go browser-based, full applications, browser-based. So as things become more browser-based, you need less and less of hardware. So maybe a 10-year-old computer will work just fine because all of your applications, they're trying to do video editing through the browser, which is like the most intensive computing task possible. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 5 years. But think about it. Your email is through a browser. Your word processing is through a browser. Your spreadsheets are through a browser. Everything that can possibly move browser-based. Your contact list is in a browser. Your to-do list is in a browser. Mm-hmm. Freelance or boards where you can do the like everyone can alter it at the same time. And anyway, all browser-based. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe 10 years you can do it.
Yep. I mean, it's a Mega System that I had put together. And so I put like mega bucks into it. And I'm thinking, okay, now this has to last a while. This can't be something that, okay, you're going to be obsolete next week and we have to start over.
Frankie says, everyday laptop is almost 8 years old. Good on you.
Yeah, mine is 3 years old now. and it's showing its age. I had to have the fan replaced in it the other day, and what was it? Went out the motherboard went out in it 6 months ago, and it's going to be out of warranty here next week. So yeah, I can see that by next spring I'm probably going to be looking for a new laptop.
You know what happens to Macs a lot, especially the MacBook Pros and the MacBook Airs, the laptops, is the thermal paste starts to break down on the processor and the heat sink.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fan needs to come on because it can't cool itself with the heat sink as efficiently. So right around the 3-4 year mark, Mac laptops start, the fan comes on much more easily. And it can get annoying because you're doing something here. You know, the fan, it's trying to go. So,
well, mine, the fan was intermittent, and it would jerk to start, you know, thunk, 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 and then it would finally get going. And it was so noisy, I would have to turn the TV up all the way in the room that I had the laptop running in if I wanted to hear anything on the television. It's like having a train, it's trying to type on a train. And
thankfully, the storage is now all SSD instead of mechanical spinning disk hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Yeah.
If you buy a new computer, you got to get SSD storage.
Well, that's what it was on mine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the noise?
The fan.
Oh, just the fan.
It was just the fan.
That monitor, the fan went because I was working and I heard this one day and it never stopped. As soon as I heard it, it never not did it. So I bought. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was the fan or the power supply. So I bought them both. And I had it shipped in here. It took forever. I put it on a slow boat from China. And I cracked that sucker open. And I ripped those parts out. And I put the new parts in. Whisper quiet. And that monitor was expensive. I bought that in 2014, that monitor. 6 years old. And I paid a truck ton of money for that monitor. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend $300 on replacement parts. And I'm going to get 6 more years out of that monitor. Yep. And sure enough, works like brand new.
Yep. Well, it's an HP laptop, and I didn't want to have to send it back to HP just to have a $15 part put in it. So I had my tech go ahead and order the part, and he had it done in an hour. Now, I don't know what else he'd done in the meantime, but I figured taking all the little screws out and everything to get the fan out of it was probably quite a job. But yeah, he had it done in an hour. And I thought, well, that beats having to send it clear to HP and wait a week, for them to replace a little part and then send it back. But see, I just sent it in there 6 months ago, and why they didn't replace it then, I don't know, except I hadn't made a lot of noise about it. But it was making noise when I sent it to them 6 months ago. So you would have thought when they turned it on and heard that fan making that racket, they would have said, well, let's not have this thing on a revolving door here coming back for part after part. Let's just go ahead and fix what's wrong with it and send it back. But no, they sent it back with that noisy fan in it, and then it just got worse. But yeah, Dennis said, well, how's it sound now? And I said, it doesn't. That, that's
I see some of these PC builds on YouTube, and some of the liquid cooled PC builds are awesome. And they say that liquid cooling works so much better than you would think it works, because there's little apps that'll tell you what the heat is, and you can stream live video while playing video games on the same computer. So it's rendering the video game and it's rendering it out for the internet. I mean, it's pushing the processor and the graphics card, and that liquid cooling, it just keeps it nice and cool, and it's cranking, and you never know it.
Yeah, Matt Kircher over at what is it, off the ranch on that channel. He got a liquid cooled one a while back. That was pretty cool. Now mine isn't liquid cooled, but it's got 3 fans running in it, and they're lit up.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's got the side of it's glass, so I can see right in there everything that's going on in it. I could add more lights to it. You know, it comes with light bars and all kinds of stuff, you know, you can order extra to put in. I didn't put any of those in, but it's pretty cool. There's one light bar thing that came with it that is like a maroon or a pinkish looking light that's in it, and then the fans are lit up in green, and you know it's quite the system.
They make it a spectacle for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, there's always something bigger and better. But you know, this was all I could afford. But I put a lot of money into it, and well, let me put it this way: it was all my credit card would hold.
Yeah. And from what I understand, you can choose the color of the liquid that you want going through the clear tubes. It's one guy, Alpha Gaming, Harris Heller, he did his white, the white liquid, and it looks badass. I was like, whoa.
Now, when I do get another one, which, like I say, will probably be another, this is 2 years old, so another 8 years. Whatever is bigger and better than the liquid cooled will probably be what I go with. Liquid cooled will be a thing of the past, I'm sure, by 2028. Let's see. Frankie says, my friend had the Monster PC stuff in 1999, had the liquid cooled with the block. He used the stuff that lit up in blacklight.
Oh, nice. Bet that would show all the dust that's inside pretty good. Anthony Shaw says, hey, Matt. Hello. Leonard Davis is here.
Hi, hey, Leonard. Good to see you. You slipped by me.
Yeah, snuck in a while ago. We better wrap it up here, Brenda. We've been going for 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Well, time flies when you're having fun.
I know. I needed to blow off some steam. A bad week.
Well, listen, everybody, we're glad you joined us. We hope you'll come back next week. Well, there'll be another giveaway next week. I've got a whole box full of stuff, so you know it's easy for me to find something to give away. And we hope you all come back. There'll be a heifer haven go up either tonight or in the morning, whenever I get the time to get her up there. And Matt will have his Monday night hootenanny. And if Russ has a show Saturday night, I will be on the panel. Maybe Matt will show up. And so we hope that, and that's Simply Wooden Creations for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about. Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Simply Wooden Creations. I'm on the panel. So we hope you all drop in and see me there. And Matt, if he shows up, and whoever else, Jim Bashir's is usually on the panel. And we have a lot of fun over there. So we will bid you adieu, and we will see you on the interwebs. Good night, everybody.
Good night. This is for